Today is September 18th. It's 9:11 a.m. And I sure woke up today with a lot of peace and meditation. That's been a joy. And I dove right into pushing the boundaries of courage and adding a little bit of discomfort into what might be a peaceful life. And it's really pushing. I think something Scout told me was, be clear. You're going to have to work on your clarity with why you think and value. And to be able to clearly explain why it's important to you, maybe have an example of a story of what happened during the past and how that's brought you to where you are today. And not that it's a bad thing or a right thing or wrong thing for somebody else not to agree with your values, but to clearly put it out there in the world allows you more clarity on if your values are aligned with somebody else's. And so before I talk about that, which seems like a tender subject to me, let's start with our regular passage. This is the beginning of a new day. I have been given this day to use as I will. What I do today is important because I'm exchanging a new day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever, leaving in its place whatever I have traded for. I will pledge to myself that what I do today shall be for gain, good, and success, in order that I shall not regret the price I paid today. My thinking and my attitudes are calm and they are cheerful. I act and I feel friendly towards other people. Give them the benefit of the doubt. I am tolerant of other people, their shortcomings and mistakes, and I view their actions with the most favorable understanding possible. I act as though attainment of my goals is sure to happen. I am the kind of individual I aspire to be, and everything I do and the way I feel expresses this individuality. I will not allow my judgment or attitude to be affected by negativism or pessimism. I will try to smile as often as possible, at least several times a day. I respond in a calm and intelligent manner without alarm, no matter what the situation. If I cannot control a situation, I try always to react in a positive manner, even to negative facts. I know that if I apply myself to forming habits to enable me to act in the above manner, it will have a positive influence on my self-image in a most constructive way. By making these actions a part of my life, I would notice a definite growth in my self-confidence. In that moment too, I was imagining the course itself. At this moment in time, it's not like I have a device for every child that's going to be there. And so we may need to share. And that's a part of the growth of an organization. And that's a part of you do with what you've got. Of course, I can go and buy a ton of phones, hope for someone to give me funding later. And that's an expense that I'm willing to make and can make. But I think there's something about trying to also work with the need. There's a very big difference between need and want. And so when it comes to my values, I grew up in a family where I was consistently told we don't have enough. We are middle class and we're poor. And I think that's really what caused my growth in I need to have more of my own independent money and funds, because if I want to be doing things, I don't want to be asking my parents and my mom and my dad and relying on them. I needed to change the narrative of, am I wealthy, for myself. And even to this day, I still don't consider myself to be wealthy by my standards, I call it. The standards of me seeing what's around me in Palo Alto and in California. When I look at the costs of hotels, when I look at the costs of a trip, these all scream very large purchases for me. And at the same time, I've also been very lucky because $1,000 here, $2,000 there, those seem to net out even in the short term. In the long term, that might mean a loss of incremental dollars or savings or compounded funds that would have brought me much more in retirement. But in the short term, spending for the sake of feeling good, spending for the sake of love, spending money for the sake of what it is, has been a reciprocation and a give and take. I remember moments when I was in college and, I was given some funds from my family, and I'm very happy for that. But, I had negative money in my account, overdrawn, and had to make purchases and sell purchases. A lot of it had to do with addictions and needing to buy drugs where I would lose. And I also created sales, although I think I was negative cash flow and in the red for some of the purchases that I made, buying what I bought and then selling it to the people around me. But it felt nice to have a cushion, that's for sure. I knew that if it came down to it, I'd still be able to continue college. But I guess where I landed now with what I am is I am pretty judicious and open with spending. There's no doubt about that. And it's also because at this point in life, 33 years old, I feel that I won't be broke. I haven't felt the feeling of not having enough for a long time. The feeling comes. Last week, I felt like I couldn't spend anything. I had to be extremely hawk-eyed about, am I spending $200 there? Am I eating lunch with this much? And then it skyrockets, and I guess it is something I can really work on, my spending, actually. But not so much, I'm going to stop myself from spending, but more so coming back into equilibrium with the equilibrium of choice is coming back to me. I choose to invest my money in this way. That might be in relationship. That might be in material objects. That might be in my future with intelligence and books and learning. That might be in a business. I choose to invest my money in comfort, in impact for others. That one I'm still trying my best to deliver and create. And I'm on the path there. I choose to invest my time. I'm paying myself money that I already have to teach yoga to others. I'm choosing to invest my money in relationships with others where it seems to feel fit. It may seem strange in practice that even if I have money, I'm choosing not to just give it away for free. There's a loss, I think, in energetic value if that's not realized. So there's something about explaining that. That's my story. And that's where I am now. And some people may not understand that or can't receive that or grow in that. And I think that's probably where a fundamental challenge lies. I don't say it's meant to be, you're just going to spend on anything and not give a crap and just think that money exists. But there's also where I'm at now in my life is where I've arrived. And so I also have pressure. I have a pressure, or I have a value where I think, and this now I'm going to talk as you for practice, I think you should want more money. I think you should be trying to increase your money status in life. I think you should continue to keep the mentality of saving. I think you should learn finance and learn what it means to increase your wealth, use the financial instruments that you have access to. I think you shouldn't be lazy. I guess I judge and I think sometimes you're lazy, which isn't true. Which isn't true because it's grace and patience. I think you may not have an interest in money, and that's okay. And if that's the case, I think you should be more open to receiving the money that I do have. Interest in money doesn't mean rejecting money. And because you may not value it. But what about valuing the reception of a gift or about love? So this is all the thoughts happening. So let's see how that goes.